You are watching Iron Beasts of World War II. Here, we break down the combat machines of World War II using only real archival photographs, original documents, and verified historical data. And today, a full analysis of one of the most unconventional fighters of the war. The American P-38 Lightning. Late 1930s. The United States is preparing for a war that will not be fought over short distances. Future battlefields are separated by oceans, continents, and vast empty skies. In Europe, air combat is moving higher and faster. Speed and altitude decide survival. In the Pacific, distance becomes the real enemy. Hundreds of kilometers of open water. No emergency airfields. No second chances. Existing fighters cannot meet these demands. They lack range. They lose power at altitude. And over the ocean, a single engine failure means disappearance. The military does not need another conventional fighter. It needs a new type of aircraft. A fighter that can fly far. Stay airborne for hours. Fight at high altitude. And return home even if one engine is gone. This requirement will force engineers to abandon tradition and accept a design unlike anything that has flown before. The engineers made a radical decision. They abandoned the classic single-engine layout entirely. Instead of one engine in the nose, they chose two. Instead of one fuselage, they split the aircraft into twin booms. The pilot and all P***NS were placed in a central nacelle. This was not done for appearance. It was done for performance. Two engines meant reliability. If one failed, the aircraft could still fly home. Separating the engines improved airflow and cooling. The central nose provided space for concentrated firepower. No synchronization. No convergence problems. Every round flew straight ahead. The design also allowed excellent high-altitude performance. Turbo-superchargers preserved engine power where other fighters were already losing speed and control. But nothing came for free. The aircraft was complex to maintain, demanding to fly at the limits, and unforgiving to pilots who treated it like a lightweight dogfighter. The philosophy was clear from the start. This was not a universal fighter. Not a turn fighter. Not a forgiving trainer. It was a machine optimized for speed, altitude, range, and delivering decisive fire at the right moment. Engine/power plant. The P-38 was powered by two Allison V-1710 liquid-cooled engines, each producing roughly 1,425 horsepower. What made them exceptional was not just power, but the turbo-supercharging system. It allowed the engines to maintain performance at high altitude, where many fighters became slow, weak, and vulnerable. Speed. Maximum speed reached approximately 660 km per hour. For its time, this placed the aircraft among the fastest operational fighters in the world. At altitude, the P-38 could outrun many opponents and choose when to engage, or disengage. Armament. All P***NS were mounted in the nose. 120mm cannon. For heavy machine G***NS. There was no need for G***N convergence. No spreading of fire. Every burst traveled straight forward as a single, dense stream. This gave the P-38 lethal accuracy at both short and long range. Mobility/range. The aircraft was designed for long-distance missions. Large internal fuel capacity. External drop tanks. The ability to escort bombers deep into enemy territory and still return home. Over the Pacific, this range was not an advantage, it was survival. Flight/combat performance. The P-38 excelled in high-speed, high-altitude flight. It was stable in a dive. Powerful in energy-based combat. But it was not agile in tight turns. Against lighter single-engine fighters in close dogfights, it was at a disadvantage. Its strength was not maneuvering. Its strength was control of distance, altitude, and timing. The P-38 did not forgive mistakes. It demanded discipline, precision, and a deep understanding of its behavior at speed and altitude. Pilots praised its stability in level flight and its confidence during long-range missions. At high altitude, the aircraft felt solid and predictable, a platform built for endurance rather than improvisation. But the challenges were real. The systems were complex. Maintenance required time and SK*led ground crews. In high-speed dives, pilots encountered compressibility effects, control forces increased, and recovery required correct technique and calm judgment. At extreme speeds, the controls became heavy. The aircraft had to be flown with respect, not aggression. Those who mastered the Lightning trusted it completely. 2 engines meant options. Damage that would doom a single-engine fighter still allowed a chance to return. For many pilots, the P-38 was not just an aircraft. It was a partner that could bring them home when the mission went wrong. In Europe, the P-38 became the first American fighter truly capable of long-range escort missions. It operated at high altitude, where its turbo-supercharged engines gave it an advantage and enemy fighters struggled to reach effective performance. The Lightning did not seek constant combat. It entered battle on its own terms, from above, with speed, and with concentrated firepower. Over occupied Europe, it escorted bombers, intercepted enemy aircraft, and attacked ground targets when required. In the Pacific, the P-38 found its true battlefield. Its range transformed air combat across oceans, islands, and jungles. Where engine failure meant death, 2 engines meant a chance. The Lightning hunted over vast distances, intercepted enemy aircraft far from base, and struck targets no other fighter could reach. One of the most precise aerial interceptions of the war was carried out by P-38s, a mission planned around range, timing, and reliability, not chance. Here, the aircraft proved its purpose. Not as a duelist in tight turns, but as a long-range hunter operating where survival depended on endurance, speed, and planning. Against enemy single-engine fighters, the P-38 held clear advantages in range and firepower. It could strike from farther away, engage at altitude, and deliver concentrated fire without dispersion. In classic close-range dogfights, it was different. Lighter fighters could turn tighter, react faster at low altitude, and exploit the Lightning's size and weight. In those conditions, the P-38 was vulnerable if flown like a traditional fighter. Compared to Allied single-engine aircraft, the Lightning filled a different role. It was not built to replace them. It was built to go where they could not. Long escort missions. High-altitude interception. Operations far beyond friendly airfields. The P-38 rewarded planning over improvisation. Position over reflex. Energy over instinct. It was a fighter of tactics, not of sudden opportunity. When the battle began with altitude, speed, and distance, the Lightning was in its element. The P-38 was constantly refined as the war progressed. Early combat experience exposed weaknesses, and engineers responded with continuous updates. Cooling systems were improved. Radiators were redesigned. Controls were strengthened to handle high-speed flight. Armament options expanded. Bomb racks were added. The aircraft evolved from pure interceptor into a true multi-role combat platform. Several major variants appeared. Fighter versions optimized for air combat. Fighter bombers capable of ground attack. And reconnaissance models stripped of G*NS and equipped with cameras for deep penetration missions. Each new version carried lessons learned in combat. Each modification made the aircraft more reliable, more flexible, and more lethal. By the later stages of the war, the Lightning was no longer an experimental design. It was a mature combat machine, hardened by operations over Europe and the Pacific, adapted to real battlefield demands rather than theoretical expectations. The P-38 became a symbol of engineering courage. It proved that unconventional solutions could succeed in combat when they were driven by real operational needs, not tradition. Its twin-boom layout, concentrated nose armament, and emphasis on range and altitude challenged the idea of what a fighter was supposed to be. The Lightning influenced post-war thinking about interception, long-range escort, and the value of energy-based air combat. It also left a powerful visual legacy. Few aircraft of the Second World War are as instantly recognizable. Today, surviving examples stand in museums and airshows, reminders of a time when engineers were willing to take risks in order to solve impossible problems. The P-38 remains a lesson in purpose-driven design, a machine shaped by distance, altitude, and necessity. The P-38 Lightning was not easy. It was not forgiving. And it was never meant to be universal. But in the right conditions, it became a long-range interceptor, a bomber escort, and a hunter capable of striking far beyond expectations. It rewarded preparation, discipline, and pilots who understood when to fight, and when not to. This was an aircraft built for a global war and immense distances. And when used as intended, it delivered exactly what it was designed to do. This was Iron Beasts of World War II. Only real archival photographs. Only verified history. And only the combat machines of World War II. Subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments which machine should be broken down next.